Borthakur IAS Academy, an endeavor of excellence.
Borthakur IAS Academy.
Hello everyone, welcome to Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. I hope you all are doing well. Today is 7th of July and I'm here with another segment of Current Affairs 365. This is your one-stop solution for any current affairs news-related updates for your civil services examination, and along with that, this is also going to be beneficial for any other Assam state government services. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook as well as Instagram. The first news for today is related to environment and biodiversity. It will be tagged under GS paper 3 and it is about the problems of marine plastic and what are the favorable solutions to stop the increasing amount of plastic in our oceans, right? First of all, what is plastic? It is a synthetic organic polymer which is made from petroleum, and it has properties which is ideally suited for a variety of applications. They are widely used in packaging, building and construction, then for sports equipments and household equipments, in electronics, agriculture and many more. Okay, plastic is cheap, lightweighted, strong and malleable, and this is the main reason why it has such a wide range of application. As per the CPCB, that is Central Pollution Control Board, annual report of this board on implementing plastic waste management rules of 2016, it has observed that the plastic waste that is generated in the year 2018-19 was about 3.3 million tons per year, which is roughly close to 9,200 tons per day. This is a huge amount, and this is going to have a very negative impact on our environment for current years and also for the upcoming generation. So we have to work in such a way that we reduce the use of plastics and use other alternatives which are non-polluting in nature. Over 300 million tons of plastics are produced every year, and half of them are used to design some single-use items like shopping bags, cups and straws. They are not like once after use they are disposed, and these are not recycled properly. This leads to pollution because plastics, they take a lot of time to degrade naturally, right? It is very difficult for plastics to degrade naturally. Okay, they are not organic, and as per the International Union for Conservation of Nature, at least 8 million tons of plastics, they end up in our oceans every year. So what are the major sources of marine plastic? First is land-based. Okay, the major sources are land-based from urban and storm runoff, then sewer overflows, beach visitors. The people who visit the beaches, they always tend to pollute the beaches with so many different plastic products. Okay, then inadequate waste disposal and management, and also a large share is responsible for the industrial activities. They are largely responsible for this marine plastic pollution. Ocean-based plastics, they originates mainly from the fishing industry, nautical activities and the aquaculture. Under the influence of solar UV radiation, ocean currents, winds and other natural factors, these plastics, they break down. Okay, they fragment into small particles which are known as microplastics or nanoplastics. Depending upon their size, these are termed as microplastics or nanoplastics. And another type of microplastic which is known as microbeads. Okay, these are very tiny pieces of polythene plastic, and they are widely used as exfoliants in some health and beauty products. So these tiny particles, they easily pass through water filtration systems, and thus they end up in the lakes and oceans, which highly pollutes the marine environment. Okay, plastic waste, they blocks our sewers, then they threaten the marine life, and these also generates a number of health risks for the residents in landfills or natural environment. Moreover, the financial cost of marine plastic pollution is also significantly high. Enormous social costs, they accompany these economic costs, as residents of the coastal region, they suffer from harmful health impacts of plastic pollution and waste brought by the tides. The boats, they may also become entangled in the abandoned fishing nets, or their engines may become blocked with the plastic debris. So these are the major problems that we face because of marine plastics, right? Now we will see what are the steps taken both globally as well as nationally. First, we can talk about, as coming to the global platform, we can talk about the Glow Litter Partnerships project, which was launched by the International Maritime Organization along with the Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations. Here, the initial funding was provided by the government of Norway, and the main aim of this project was to prevent and reduce maritime plastic litter from shipping and fisheries. Okay, so this is all about the global project. And now coming to the India specific steps. First, we can talk about the Plastic Waste Management Rule of 2016. It states that every local body has to be responsible for setting up infrastructure for segregation, collection, processing and disposal of plastic waste. Then we have this Plastic Waste Management Rule of 2018 that introduced the concept of EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility. Thirdly, we can talk about the ban on single-use plastics, okay, in order to stop or make India free from single-use plastics by 2022. Now, coming to the possible solutions, first of all, we need to design a product which will be alternative for plastics, okay. It will be recyclable and biodegradable material. That is the first step. Countries, they must embrace the circular and sustainable economic practices throughout the plastics value chain to accomplish the same. Then coming to pricing, plastics are inexpensive, which provides fewer economic incentives to employ the recycled plastics. Balancing price structure with environmental health should be the top priority of all the countries now. We should make proper utilization of technologies and innovation by developing tools and technology to assist government in measuring the plastic garbage in our cities. That can provide lot of help. India should start projects like Closing the Loop project of United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and Pacific, which this project, it assists cities in developing more inventive policy solutions to tackle plastic related problem. Then we must also promote plastic free workplace. All single-use goods can be replaced with reusable items or more sustainable single-use alternatives. So these are various solutions, and if we think about, then we will definitely come up with many more favorable solutions so that we can stop the use of plastic and we can also function properly. All the activities, they will continue in the same order, but the environment will not be polluted in the name of use of plastic products. Secondly, we will have a look at the news related to concerns of Atmanirbhar Bharat. The UK-India Business Council, UKIBC, it has released a report titled Road to a UK-India Free Trade Agreement, Enhancing the Partnership and Achieving Self-Reliance. In this particular report, the Council emphasized that some of the reforms under this program, it could have a negative impact on UK as well as all other multinational companies. However, as per the annual survey of UKIBC on ease of doing business in India, 77% of the UK companies, they believe that Atmanirbhar Bharat program is an opportunity rather than a challenge. So here we will see what are the concerns that are highlighted in this particular report. Then we will see what Atmanirbhar Bharat program is all about. We will also have a look at the opportunities which are being offered by this program, okay, and then finally we will see what are the way out, what are the solutions which are possible that can be applied in order to maintain healthy trade and commerce relation on a global platform. So first of all, let us have a look at what is Atmanirbhar Bharat program. This program was launched last year in May by our Prime Minister with an economic stimulus package worth rupees 20 lakh crores, and it was aimed towards achieving self-reliance. The announced economic package was 10% of India's GDP for the year 2019-20, and this package was expected to focus on areas like land, labor, liquidity and laws. The main aim of Atmanirbhar Bharat program is to work towards cutting down import dependence by focusing on substitution while also improving the safety, compliance and good qualities of the goods that will gain global market share. And self-reliance, by self-reliance here it means that it signifies neither exclusionary or isolationist strategies, but the main idea here is to involve creation of a helping hand to the whole entire world. And the mission, it mainly focuses on importance of promoting local products. Okay, so this was all about Atmanirbhar Bharat program. Now let us see the offers which are provided by the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan. Okay, this program, it can be viewed as an extension of the Make in India concept, okay, that was launched in 2014, as this program also shares the aim of securing manufacturing investments from domestic and international business. This package offered a range of financial support measures for the weaker section of our society, along with that for the MSMEs, for agricultural sector, and then also on towards easing rules for business. It will have a range of other solutions that will support our economy, right? And this campaign also opened up several sectors for foreign investors as well. Now we will see the concerns which were raised in this particular report by UKIBC, okay, that viewed that this self-reliant program can have some negative impact on the UK as well as other multinational companies. So first, the concerns are listed here, okay. So first is regarding curtailing international trade and investment. Certain aspects of this program, it may have the potential to curtail international trade and investment, like increased tariffs, then non-tariff restrictions on import and import substitution. Non-tariff barrier is a trade restriction like quota, embargo, etc. that countries use to further their political and economic goals. Next is policy issues. There are some difficulties in India's intellectual property enforcement regime, okay. Then the gaps which are seen in the pharma sector regulations, drugs, price control, and some norms related to data localization and governance. Now, what is data localization? It is storing data within the boundaries of the country. In other words, data localization means storing data within the boundaries of the country, and it may restrict the ability of the local companies to compete in the global marketplace, because if they don't share their data, then obviously it is going to be difficult, right, for the local companies to compete in the global forum, and because it is going to limit the access to global supply chain. And this isolation, it can result in reduced investment and access to capital for the customers. Then the other areas are related to the space sector and defense sector. Next, let us have a look at the probable suggestions, okay. Firstly, we should build a strategy for our future, right? A long-term approach that considers regional supply chains and location decision making. It is needed in order to succeed in global platform, right? Then India should become increasingly open towards free and fair trade. We should attract investors due to its strengths rather than by using tariff as a tool to push international businesses to invest and make in India. Thirdly, we should focus on developing and supporting innovators. By focusing on digital, creative and critical thinking skills, we can build leaders and workers who will innovate and solve problems, right? India should also try to develop an innovator-friendly intellectual property policy as well as an enforcement regime. And then we also need to put sustainability at the center of our trade and investment strategy. If shaped properly, the trading arrangements can help support the poor, and also it will protect the environment at the same time. There are many countries and trade blocs who are cognizant of this fact, and they are increasingly integrating sustainability and human rights into their trade agreements and strategies. Next, let us see what is Open Network for Digital Commerce. The Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, it has issued orders appointing an advisory committee for ONDC, Open Network for Digital Commerce project. It is aiming at curbing digital monopolies. Okay, this is in the direction of making e-commerce processes open source. Thus, it will create a platform that can be utilized by all online retailers. Earlier, the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, they released a draft of the e-commerce rules for consumer protection, which seek to bring changes to how the e-commerce marketplaces, including this Amazon, Flipkart, etc. operates. After the small businesses, they complain that these big names, they misuse the market dominance and deep discounting to gain an unfair advantage. So first of all, let us look at what is the main aim of ONDC. It aims at promoting open network developed on open sourced methodology using specifications and network protocols which are independent on any specific platform. Then the implementation of ONDC is expected to be on the lines of UPI, Unified Payments Interface. It could bring various operational aspects put in place by the e-commerce platforms to the same level. And various operational aspects, it includes the onboarding of sellers, then vendor discovery, price discovery, product cataloging, etc. These on the ONDC, the buyers and sellers, they may transact irrespective of the fact that they are attached to one specific e-commerce portal. So if this ONDC gets implemented, it would mean that all the e-commerce companies, they will have to operate using the same processes, and this could provide a huge booster shock to the smaller online retailers and the new entrants as well. The ONDC is also expected to digitize the entire value chain, standardize operations, and promote inclusion of suppliers. Now let us see what is the meaning of open source. Making a software or any process open source means that the code or the steps of that process is made available freely for others to use. It will be redistributed and modified. Okay, I mean the other people who will use it, they have the liberty to redistribute it as well as to modify it. Okay, like if we consider the example of Apple iPhone, it is a closed source, meaning it cannot be legally modified or engineered in a different manner, right? So by open source, it means that here the steps of that process is freely available for others to use as well as modify. Then the government initiatives regarding e-commerce in India includes the Consumer Protection Rule of 2020 and Consumer Protection Act of 2019. Okay, we all are aware of e-commerce. It is a business model which lets the firms and individuals buy and sell things over internet, right? It is propelled by the rising use of smartphone and the launch of 4G networks and increasing consumer wealth. The Indian e-commerce market is expected to grow to around 200 billion USD by the year 2026. The Indian e-commerce industry also has been on an upward growth trajectory, and it is expected to surpass the US and become second largest e-commerce market of the world by the year 2034. Next, let us see what is Tele Law. Recently, the Justice Department, it commemorated the milestone of crossing 9 lakh beneficiaries under its Tele Law program through the Common Service Centers. Common Service Center program is an initiative of the Ministry of Electronics and IT, Information Technology, and it serves as the access points for delivery of various electronic services to the remote areas of our country. Thereby, it contributes to a digitally and financially inclusive society. Now coming to this Tele Law program, it was launched by the Ministry of Law and Justice in collaboration with the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. It was done in 2017 to address cases at the pre-litigation stage. Currently, it is operating in 633 districts across 34 states and union territories. Under this program, smart technology of video conferencing, telephone, instant calling facilities are available at the vast network of common service centers at the panchayat level, and they are used to connect the indigent, downtrodden, vulnerable, unreached groups, okay, and communities with panel lawyers for seeking timely and valuable legal advice. Even though this Tele Law program is technologically driven, its success is dependent on the working of field functionaries, which comprises of the village level entrepreneurs, paralegal volunteers, state coordinators, as well as the panel lawyers. The major benefit of this program is that it enables anyone to seek legal advice without wasting precious time and money. The service is free for those who are eligible for free legal aid, as it has been mentioned in the Legal Service Authority Act of 1987. and it also supports the Sustainable Development Goal number 16, which seeks to promote peaceful and inclusive societies for sustainable development. It provides access to justice for all and build effective, accountable and inclusive institutions at all the levels. Now coming to the related constitutional provisions, Article 39A of our Constitution provides for free legal aid to the poor and weaker sections of our society in order to promote justice on basis of equal opportunity. Then we also have to mention about the Article 14 and 22(1) that makes it obligatory for the state to ensure equality before law. So this was all for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and share, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'll see you all again tomorrow with another segment of Current Affairs 365 only on Borthakur's IAS Academy, Northeast's premier institute for UPSC, APSC and NPSC preparations. Till then, take care, keep learning. Bye-bye.
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS একাডেমি প্ৰস্তুতি আৰু অধ্যয়নৰ নিৰ্ভৰযোগ্য ঠিকনা
বৰঠাকুৰ IAS Academy